Hello and welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. Well, New York City, you've got the Diddy trial with the baby oil and the PP and the beatings. And now you have Harvey Weinstein's retrial. He had his conviction overturned in New York, where he was convicted and sentenced to 23 years in prison for forcible oral copulation and something rape adjacent. It was pretty awful. But what happened was he appealed because apparently the judge in that case erroneously allowed 3 women to testify who were apparently unrelated to the case. And they were there to lay out a pattern of abuse. And then Harvey Weinstein took his own defense, and he was questioned about those 3 women. His lawyer, Arthur Aidala, who used to work at Fox, at least he appeared on Fox a lot, very, very smart, very successful defense lawyer. He successfully called for an appeal, and it went to the state appeals court. And by a 4-3 decision, which is about as narrow as it gets, just one vote among them, they voted for a new trial. And that has started this week, and it is very, very rough stuff because you have women who have to testify again about their alleged sexual abuse and rape, and it's pretty brutal. And there was one woman in particular who was a production assistant on Project Runway, where Harvey Weinstein was the executive producer on that show. And he apparently, at his apartment, pinned a woman down. And she was like, no, I don't want to do this. I'm on my monthly. And he forcibly removed her tampon and feasted on her menstrual buffet, which is super, super gross. So if the jury believes some of the women who are testifying in this case, he will essentially be resentenced depending on what he is found guilty of. If he is, in fact, found guilty, he's disgusting. Like, by all accounts, he's super gross. 90 women have come forward, and they have made all sorts of accusations, from threats to intimidation, what amounts to false imprisonment, and, rape. It's about as bad as it gets. And I think you compare the 2 men in these trials who were at some point on top of the world. And, of course, Harvey Weinstein, he was the impetus of the Me Too movement. And so, of course, he's claiming that he was unfairly railroaded. He was wrongfully convicted. He has some very, very public and notable defenders like Joe Rogan, who is saying, well, maybe he was wrongfully convicted. And Candace Owens, who has done a series of podcasts with Harvey Weinstein. And she, who actually received the Anti-Semite of the Year award from StopAntisemitism.com. They gave her the award. Past winners, of course, include Hitler fanboy Kanye and Michigan Democrat Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. And last year it was Candace Owens. So that's exciting for her. And she has said that, of course, Hollywood is a demonic, mind-controlling cult, of which Harvey Weinstein, a Jewish man, was the king of the cult, you could argue. And because it is going to create more of a disturbance in the force, this is the star she has hitched her wagon to, because she is clearly out of her mind. And so now she wants to defend Harvey Weinstein and get the real story here. And it's not because she's looking for criminal justice reform. It's not because she's a true crime expert. She's just trolling. She doesn't even believe this. But she and Harvey Weinstein are teaming up and combining forces. And they're essentially 2 psychopaths who are using each other for their own personal gain. And it's pretty disgusting.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
There are some very interesting parallels between Diddy and Harvey Weinstein. I've met Diddy many times. I've never met Harvey Weinstein. But I was talking to a friend who didn't know who he was because he's not in the film industry at all. And Harvey Weinstein, after an award show, was screaming at the valet because his car wasn't there yet. And my friend went up to him and he was like, don't talk to people that way. And he's like, do you know who I am? He's like, dude, I don't give a shit who you are. Don't talk to people that way. And my friend was one of few people who actually stood up to him because people were so terrified of him, the way people were terrified of Diddy. That's why people didn't come forward until Cassie filed her $30 million civil suit against Diddy saying he raped me, he beat me, he forced me into sex with prostitutes. And then dozens of people came forward and filed the same kind of suits. The federal government took notice, raided 2 of Diddy's homes. And now he's on trial for his life as well. So people are worried that because there is this new trial going on in New York, that Harvey Weinstein will be let free. I don't think you really have to worry about that because you have to remember he was convicted in Los Angeles on 3 or 4 of the 7 counts with just one of the victims alone. And he was sentenced to 16 years for that. So he will spend probably the rest of his life in jail because he looks like hot garbage. He looks like, as my brother would say, hammered. He's not looking good. He's in a filthy suit. He's got a bunch of teeth missing. He's like, I'm on Rikers Island and it sucks and I can't even go see my dentist. And it's like, well, don't rape people. And there are so many people who deserve the attention of high-profile people who have been either wrongfully convicted or they have been overcharged and over-sentenced, and they are rotting in jails needlessly, and that is a great injustice. They don't have, big headline-catching, like magnet names like Harvey Weinstein, so you're not going to see people like Joe Rogan and, Candace Owens waste their hot air. And I actually have more respect for Joe Rogan because I think he looks at things more critically than she does. She doesn't have a rational or critical bone left in her body. Candace Owens used to be somewhat interesting, and people, really looked to her to be like a young thought leader in the conservative movement. And she lost her mind. She obviously had a falling out with Ben Shapiro because of her just rabid anti-Semitism, and now, just the greatest show of hypocrisy, she's defending Harvey Weinstein. Go defend someone else. Go defend a mom who has been unjustly accused and convicted, who is in prison and can't see her children. Go see people who are in prison for nonviolent drug offenses. Why don't you raise awareness for them, for all of them, for some of them? And put more pressure on presidents to pardon some of these people and change the criminal justice system within. And that's why I actually have a great deal of respect for Kim Kardashian. Not only has she been just superiorly lifted recently, her and her mom, while plastic surgery has come a long way. She really does look super, super good. But she's really taking time to learn the criminal justice system, which takes time. It takes work. It takes unsexy work. And she's got all the money she'll ever need, and she doesn't need to do that. But she does find these causes that she advocates for. And I think that is something that is incredibly admirable. I hope that Harvey Weinstein gets a series of guilty verdicts that go against him so he does die in prison, because I think what he has done is so awful. I think he's a serial rapist, and not every single story is going to be egregiously offensive, but the ones that are paint a portrait of a pattern of criminal behavior, that he preyed upon people, he intimidated people, and so few people were brave enough to stand up to him and be like, dude, I don't want to be in your movie. I don't care about your funding. You're awful. Go away. One of those people, actually Brad Pitt. And that was one of the things that, Harvey Weinstein, Candace Owens asked him about, the idea that he groped or hit on Gwyneth Paltrow. And he's like, yeah, I asked her for a massage in my hotel room. I guess that was hitting on her. And yeah, Brad Pitt called me and told me to stay away from his girlfriend. So it's like, oh, so what you've been accused of in that scenario was actually true because you are a disgusting piece of human garbage. So rot in jail, you monster. This has been Kennedy Saves the World. I'm always looking out for you. If you did nothing wrong and they imprisoned you, I would fight for your honor. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with the Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.
Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.